16th of last seed, 4E201. I write this not merely to record events, but to steady my thoughts before the path ahead grows uncertain. A man who forgets the origins of his purpose is easily swept aside by the tides of circumstance. Should this journal survive me, let it stand as the account of how a son of House Renthal came to ride toward the frozen border of Skyrim. I am Rien Prysarnis of House Renthal, son to Lord Maelric Prysarnis and Lady Morell Prysarnis, commander of the Western Arcane Militia, heir to a house too ambitious for its modest borders. House Renthal is not counted among the great powers of High Rock, though many in the courts speak of us as though we aspire to be. Our lands sit upon the eastern shores of the Great Bay, modest in size, but rich in ambition. The silver tower upon our banner, encircled and set against brown, was chosen not to boast of strength, but to symbolize both endurance and our sentinel-like watch of things around us. My father, Lord Maelric Prysarnis, often reminded me that influence in High Rock is not won through sheer might. The great kingdoms, Wayrest, Daggerfall, and their rivals, have armies enough to crush smaller houses a dozen times over, but they are also slow, burdened by tradition and expectation. A smaller house must survive through patience, calculation, and the ability to see opportunity where others see only chaos. It was with this philosophy that I was raised. From childhood, my tutors ensured that I would not grow soft behind the walls of a noble estate. I was trained in blade and stave until my arms trembled, drilled in the arts of diplomacy and commerce until I could recite trade agreements by memory, and instructed in the subtler crafts of influence and deception. My mother, Lady Morell, insisted that knowledge was the sharpest weapon of all, and it was she who first encouraged my studies of magic. Magic fascinated me in a way that politics never could. Where politics required persuasion, magic required understanding. Alteration, illusion, restoration. Each school revealed hidden rules beneath the chaos of the world. If a man understood those rules, he could bend reality itself to his will. But there was another education, one my family did not sanction. In my youth, driven by curiosity and ambition, I found my way to forbidden texts, whispers of fate, fragments of knowledge attributed to Hermaeus Mora, the Daedric prince of knowledge and hidden truths. At first, I told myself it was scholarly interest. High Rock is filled with mages. Curiosity is hardly treason. Yet, curiosity became pursuit, and pursuit became communion. Mora does not offer power freely. He offers understanding, and understanding is a far more intoxicating gift. Through hidden tomes and veiled rituals, I felt his presence brush against my mind like a tide against stone. Insights came to me in moments of stillness, connections between events, patterns in politics, glimpses of possibility. I told myself that such knowledge would serve House Renthal, and it did. Yet in private hours, I questioned whether my devotion to study was entirely altruistic. Did I seek enlightenment for my house, or for myself? That question has never fully left me. By the time I came of age, the political winds across Tamriel had shifted violently. The Great War had scarred the Empire, and the uneasy peace that followed left every province simmering with resentment. Nowhere was this more evident than in Skyrim, where a Nord named Ulfric Stormcloak had raised rebellion against the Empire itself. When Ulfric Stormcloak's rebellion ignited in Skyrim, the great houses of High Rock weighed their responses carefully. Most are bound tightly to the Empire by trade and tradition. To oppose the Empire would be to wound themselves. House Renthal, however, lacks such deep entanglements. We are unburdened by dependency. My family saw opportunity. If Skyrim were to secure independence under Ulfric's rule, it would require allies, quiet supporters, new trade partners. House Renthal could provide those things. In exchange for covert assistance in their struggle against the Empire, gold, supplies, elite battle mages, We would seek exclusive trade rights and a binding alliance. An independent Skyrim would propel us beyond our current station. A weakened empire would strain our rivals, whose fortunes rise and fall with imperial favor. It was an audacious plan, and it requires absolute secrecy. If the Empire discovered that a Breton house was aiding their rebellion, Renthor would be crushed before the ink on our treaties could dry. Thus, my father devised a quieter approach. Supplies would move north through deniable channels, carried by merchants who believed themselves to be transporting ordinary cargo. A small escort of our most skilled battle mages would accompany them, men who would live and die for the glory of House Renthal, even if they must do so under the guise of the Stormcloak banner. They could be trusted to take the secret to their grave, and to oversee the operation. He sent me. I was to meet Ulfric Stormcloak's agents near the border, deliver the supplies, and establish the first threads of what would become a far greater alliance. Officially, I was nothing more than a merchant's son traveling north with a caravan. Unofficially, I carried the future ambitions of my house upon my shoulders. We departed from our lands quietly, the wagons loaded beneath the cover of night. Crates of enchanted weaponry, arcane reagents, coin, and supplies filled the caravan. The battle mages rode with us in plain cloaks, their staves wrapped in cloth to conceal their purpose. The journey north has been long and uneventful thus far. The roads through High Rock and Cyrodiil are familiar enough, and few travelers give a second glance to merchants moving goods along the trade routes. But the closer we draw to Skyrim's border, the more uneasy I become. War has a way of swallowing the careful plans of men who believe themselves clever. Still, the opportunity before us is too great to abandon. If this mission succeeds, House Renthal will step onto a stage far larger than the quiet shores of the Great Bay. If it fails, the future of House Renthal is jeopardized. This mission, and what is expected to be prolonged support of the Stormcloaks in the conflict, is an extremely expensive venture that leaves us exposed to rivals back home. Should I fail, it is not clear that House Renthal can recover. Should I prove victorious, our dominion could rise to that of the great houses. For now, the caravan continues north beneath the shadow of the Gerald Mountains. The passes ahead lead into Skyrim, where Stormcloak soldiers are said to move in secret along the borderlands. Somewhere beyond those peaks waits Ulfric Stormcloak, and the beginning of whatever fate awaits me in that frozen land, and where the fate of my house will be determined.